Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a truly unique source. The Boy Mechanic Saves the World. Well, maybe one project at a time. It's the subtitle. From the editors of Popular Mechanics.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one.
It really is. It's not just some, dusty old DIY manual. It feels more like a window into this timeless spirit. Ingenuity, self-reliance.
Exactly. And what strikes me is how it really distills a whole philosophy. Popular Mechanics publishing this. It reminds you of a time when the default wasn't replacement. It was repair, reuse.
Right.
And there was this sort of innate understanding, wasn't there? How to clean, how to garden, how to make things without all the chemicals and specialized stuff we reach for now.
Totally. So our mission for this deep dive, we want to pull out the most surprising, the most practical, maybe the most clever bits of knowledge from these
Yeah,
pages.
it's got a shortcut for the listener.
Yeah, exactly. A shortcut to getting this can-do ethos. Because honestly, it feels incredibly relevant today, maybe even urgent. So let's unpack it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the book kicks off with this simple but really powerful idea. The boy mechanic goes green.
Right there in the title almost.
Yeah. And it explicitly calls for a return to, what was the phrase? Ingenuity and thriftiness in the true can-do spirit of the past. What does that really mean, though, for us now?
Well, if you connect it to the bigger picture, it's basically, it's sustainability, isn't it? Long before we were all talking about sustainability, the focus wasn't just saving a buck, though that was part of it. It was making things last, extending their life, repairing them, reimagining them.
Repurposing.
Repurposing, exactly. It pushes you towards this throw nothing away kind of approach,
Right.
which I think is a really powerful mindset shift for anyone today.
It really is. It's about looking at everyday stuff, challenges, just differently, giving you that power.
Yeah.
We're going to see how, ordinary objects get turned into these incredibly useful tools or ingenious fixes. It shifts your perspective, from just consuming to actually creating.
Okay, where should we start? The garden, maybe?
Let's start with the garden.
Yeah.
Because that section is just packed with these really ingenious, earth-friendly projects, as they call them. Forget chemicals. What about something basic like cutworms? What's their simple, super effective fix for those?
Oh, it's brilliantly simple. Low tech. It's all about physical barriers.
Okay.
So for those tender seedlings, they suggest just placing cone-shaped paper discs right around the base of the plant.
Just paper cones.
Just paper cones. It's like sometimes the most direct, the most resource-light solution. That's the best one. Simple and effective, as they say.
That is elegantly simple. Okay, what about other pests? Maybe more widespread problems in the garden? Are there broader strategies they recommend? Still non-chemical.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They describe this homemade spray, pretty potent actually, designed to make leaves and shoots just taste bad to pests.
Okay, what's in it?
You boil water, then you add soap, kerosene.
Kerosene, wow.
Yeah, and then either cayenne pepper or chili powder. Let it cool, strain it maybe, put in a spray bottle.
And just spray it on.
Spray it liberally on the plants you want to protect. Apparently, everything from caterpillars to squirrels, just stay away.
Huh.
The key, though, is you got to reapply it every couple of weeks, and definitely after it rains.
Right, it would wash off.
Exactly. But it's a great example of using just common stuff, things you probably had around for, targeted natural pest control.
Moving on in the garden, I was really interested in their approaches to self-watering. Did anything jump out at you there?
Yeah, quite innovative for the time, really. For window boxes, they talk about building this sort of hidden reservoir system.
How's that work?
You have a metal box underneath the main soil box, and you bore holes in the bottom of the soil box so water can wick up from below.
Ah, sub-irrigation.
Pretty much, an early version. Minimizes evaporation, keeps things consistently moist, really water-efficient thinking.
And for individual plants, say in dry weather.
Even simpler, you take an ordinary tomato can.
Like a tin can.
Yeah, an empty tin can. Punch a small hole, maybe 1/8 of an inch near the bottom. Then you sink that can into the ground right next to the plant's roots.
Okay.
You just keep the can filled with water. It slowly seeps out through that little hole right where the roots need it, keeps the soil moist without you having to water constantly.
That is clever. Simple, sustainable. Ensures the plants get what they need.
Exactly.
Okay, beyond pests and watering, the book's big on repurposing, right? Like turning old window screens into trellises. What's the idea there?
It's all about giving things a second life. You get a busted window screen
Yeah.
or an old door screen.
Yeah.
Perfect trellis material, especially for climbers like sweet peas, morning glories. You just nail a couple of stakes to it, stand it up, anchor it.
And the vines just crime it.
Yeah, they attach strongly. The book even says it'll hold up against an ordinary windstorm. It's just a smart way to reuse these large, flat things that might otherwise just be junk.
Okay, I think my favorite garden tip, maybe just for the sheer simplicity, the dried out felt tip pens.
Oh, yeah. That one's great.
What did they suggest for those?
It's such a tiny detail, but it says so much about being resourceful, doesn't it?
It does.
Instead of tossing those dried out pins, you just use them as plant markers. Stick the pin in the ground next to where you planted seeds.
With the cap on, I assume.
Yeah, probably leave the cap on.
Yeah.
And just leave it there until the plants come up and you know what's what.
It's perfect, giving this little useless thing a practical second job.
Exactly.
And speaking of second jobs for old things, they had a brilliant idea for an old piece of furniture too, right?
Yes. The broken wooden chair or stool.
What becomes of that?
It becomes a hose rack. You just cut the back off the chair.
The part with the spindles or slats.
Right. Cut that section off, screw it to the wall, and bam! Instant hose rack. Apparently holds 50 feet of hose neatly.
That's fantastic.
And they present it as, like, way better and more resourceful than buying one of those commercial hose reels. Just highlights that beauty of turning trash into something durable and useful.
Okay, let's move inside the house. Because this deep dive also gives us some really practical tips for home maintenance, repairs, stuff that feels surprisingly relevant now. Like, how did they handle a leaky stopcock?
Yeah, a stopcock, that's a kind of valve, right? Common in old plumbing.
Right.
If it won't seal tight because the plug part is worn down, the book shows you how to carefully file it.
File the metal.
Yeah, file off a bit of the plug itself and maybe a bit off the screw mechanism. Just enough so it fits snugly again. It's all about precision repair. Restoring function by adjusting, not just automatically replacing the whole thing.
That repair, don't replace idea again.
Exactly.
Okay, and screen repair. Patching a window screen can be fiddly. They had a trick for that. Something about not needing a second person.
Yeah, this is a great little tool innovation.
Yeah.
To make patching screens easier for one person, they suggested modifying a needle. You heat the needle and bend it into a specific curve. The idea is that when you push it through the screen mesh to sew the patch, the bent point naturally comes back up on the same side it went in.
Ah, so you don't have to reach around constantly.
Exactly. It makes the whole sewing process much less awkward. Just adapting a simple tool to solve a common annoyance.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Who knew you could fix a bent broom?
Right. Seems like something you just toss.
Yeah, but they had a fix.
It's a very practical one, yeah. If the broom straws are all bent out of shape, but not actually worn out, you can make it like new, they say. Just slightly dampen the straw part with water. Wrap it up tightly with some heavy paper, like a brown paper bag maybe.
Okay.
And then lay the broom down flat and put a weight on it. Leave it overnight. The moisture and the pressure reshape the straws. Simple, effective, gets more life out of your broom.
That's great. Okay, so we've got repairs, repurposing. They clearly had a fix for almost anything broken. What about cleaning? Before all the specialized sprays and wipes we have, what did the boy mechanic use for just like general household cleaning?
They had some really effective and natural solutions.
Like what?
Well, for grime on painted walls or ceilings, smoke, dirt, grease, even fly specks, they recommended a homemade mixture. Vinegar, baking soda, and a little bit of table salt.
Okay, sounds like a science experiment.
Maybe. But you mix it up, rub it on the grimy spot, then wash it off with warm soapy water and wipe it dry with a soft cloth.
And that worked.
Apparently. Very well. And get this, they also recommended the same mixture for cleaning enameled bathtubs and even glass.
Wow, multi-purpose.
Very resourceful.
Yeah.
One simple, cheap mixture for lots of different cleaning tasks.
It really is amazing how simple and natural these were. And you could even make your own floor polisher. From what?
Yeah, recognizing that, a floor polisher isn't something you use every single day.
Right.
Why buy one? Just make one. Yeah. They suggested using a basic wooden box, like the kind cocoa tins or maybe starch used to be shipped in.
Okay, a wooden box.
You stretch several layers of flannel, or maybe an old piece of carpet, over the bottom. Pull the edges up the sides, tack it down smoothly, then just attach a handle, like an old broom handle.
Instant floor polisher.
Instant floor polisher. Fantastic example of creating a specialized tool you only need occasionally just from scraps you already have.
Okay, now let's get to the really ambitious stuff. The projects that really push the boundaries of what you think is possible with, everyday materials and know-how. Like building your own pottery kiln. Seriously.
Yeah, that one's pretty wild, isn't it?
It sounds incredibly complicated. What did that actually involve?
Well, what's fascinating is the ingenuity behind making it work with minimal cost. The core is an iron pail, like a metal bucket, maybe a foot high, foot across, with a lid.
Okay.
You cut a hole in the bottom, plug it temporarily. Then you make this fireproof lining. It's a clay mixture, but with graphite mixed in about 25% graphite.
Why graphite?
Heat resistance, I assume. You pack this clay graphite mud into the pail around a temporary wooden core to create the kiln walls. And you line the lid, too.
So you're essentially building an insulated container inside the pail.
Exactly. A well-insulated, heat-retaining chamber. They even account for shrinkage as the clay dries, telling you to pack more refractory material into the gaps.
And how do you heat this thing?
Once it's dry and ready, you remove the temporary plugs, and you can heat it with a simple gas burner or even a plumber's torch directed into the bottom opening. And they claim it could reach temperatures up to 1,400 degrees Celsius.
Wow. Hot enough to fire clay?
Hot enough to fire small clay figures, yeah. It's just a masterclass in applying basic principles, insulation, heat containment using really common materials.
Okay, from pottery to personal transport, how about building a toboggan sled with an auto front? What does that even mean?
Yeah, that sounds fancy, doesn't it?
It does.
This project really shows off the craftsmanship side of things. It's not just functional. It's about making something look good, something high quality.
So it's a wooden toboggan.
Made from oak boards, yeah. But the auto front refers to the design kind of sleek, maybe like the radiator grille of an old car, with beveled edges designed for brass trimmings.
Brass trimmings?
Oh, yeah. Sheet brass for the edges, brass squares on the crossbars as footrests. They even suggest cutting the owner's monogram out of sheet brass for a little door.
A door on a sled.
Yeah, a little hinged door with a lock for stowing things like skates or your lunch or whatever.
That's amazing.
And they talk about painting it dark maroon or creamy white, multiple coats of enamel, varnish, and creating a fine-looking sled. You could even add optional bicycle lamps as headlights.
Seriously?
Seriously, it really speaks to this pride in building things that weren't just useful, but actually beautiful, personalized, and maybe even better than what you could buy.
That's incredible. Okay, one more winter one. Transforming a bicycle into a snow machine. How on earth do you do that?
It's surprisingly straightforward, but again, super resourceful.
What's the core idea?
Instead of just packing your bike away when the snow flies, you attach runners to it.
Runners? Like skis?
Yeah, basically small ski-like runners that attach to the wheels, or maybe replace the wheels temporarily. The project title is literally Attaching Runners to a Bicycle for Winter Use.
So you can ride your bike on snow.
That's the idea. Converting this seasonal vehicle into something you could potentially use year-round. It's all about adapting what you already have to deal with different conditions, making your investments, like a bicycle, work harder for you.
That really is something. It's just what's fascinating through all of these, from the simple paper cone to the brass-trimmed sled, is the sheer range of problems they were tackling, from the tiniest fix to these really complex builds, and all of it driven by this incredible spirit of self-reliance.
Absolutely.
So, okay, pulling it all together, what does all this mean for you listening today?
I think it's just such a powerful reminder that this ingenuity, this resourcefulness,
Yeah.
it's not just some quaint thing from the past.
No, not at all.
They're really potent tools, aren't they? Especially for navigating this modern world of ours with its endless consumption and, frankly, information overload sometimes. Yeah, this deep dive, it really encourages you to think critically, I think. Before you automatically click Buy Now or head to the store, it kind of plants a question in your mind, doesn't it?
Like what?
Hang on, can I fix this thing I already have? Or could I actually make something like that? Or even just, is there something lying around I could repurpose for this?
Right, seeing potential where maybe you just saw junk before.
Exactly. Those aha moments. They often come just from looking at familiar stuff or familiar problems with completely fresh eyes.
So maybe that's our challenge to you after this deep dive. The next time you're about to toss something in the bin or you think you absolutely need to buy that specific gadget or tool, just pause, just for a second,
Yeah.
and ask yourself, what might the boy mechanic do